and Philippine Sports Institute Deputy Director Salvador Albo. Good morning po sa lahat. To give us or to lead a prayer, to start sa iya.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال ربكم اعبدوا إنكم تعلمون الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم وغير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Before the press conference, I would just like to mention some house rules. Since late na po tayo na magsalita, everybody, our friends from the media will only be given one question and a follow-up question po after po ng opening message po ng ating pong mga panel po. Alright, so to start, to give us updates and accomplishments of the Bangsamoro government, Sir, the BARMM Spokesperson and the MILG Minister, Atty. Sinarimbo.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. I'm honored to be joined by our colleagues from the Philippine Sports Commission for today's regular press briefing. Let me apologize for coming in late. I came all the way from the airport. Yesterday I was asked by the Chief Minister to attend in his behalf the summit of the National Task Force on ending armed communist insurgency in the country. It was attended by all the members of the National Task Force from the eastern regions of the country. The summit was presided no less than by the President, and we ended up at around 12:30 midnight last night. And I needed to fly back here for a couple of things. One is to attend to the regular press briefing. The other one, which is also equally important, is this afternoon we will begin the defense of the budget of the individual ministries before the subcommittees of the Parliament of the Bangsamoro. So we will have to defend our budget at the level of the Committee on Finance. The Parliament decided to create subcommittees of the Committee of Finance, committees A to F of the Bangsamoro Authority. So they will begin the deliberation of the budget this afternoon, and we're going to present their budget to the subcommittee E of the Committee of Finance of the Bangsamoro Authority. This, I think, would really be the focus of the discussion for today if our colleagues from the media would want to clarify. What has actually happened is in the past months, we've been working on the budget of the regional government at the level of the technical preparations and technical budget hearing by the individual ministries before the Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management at the regional level. This almost coincided with the budget process of the national government before the Senate and the House of Representatives. What you need then to take note of is a major shift, a radical one, from the usual process in the former ARMM, where all of us needs to fly to Manila to defend our budget before Congress and the Senate. Today, this year, when the Bangsamoro government is established, we are now defending our budget before the Bangsamoro Parliament. So we brought down accountability at the level of the Bangsamoro government, no longer at the level of the National Congress, which is a major shift in policy. And therefore, we should look at this development as a major win for the Bangsamoro in the assertion of the right to self-determination. This year, we will determine the kind of allocation, how much money we will spend for each program, where should the bulk of the money of our government should be invested, and what are the programs that we are supposed to prioritize. In the past, we have always encountered the challenge of a ceiling established by the national government through the DBM, and then a process that is determined by the majority in the House and in the Senate. Given that, we've always been relegated to simply accepting what is determined by the national government as the appropriate budget and programs for us. This year, we should therefore strive to demonstrate that we can govern, we know our priorities, and that we can keep these priorities in the implementation stage of the program or the budget execution. That is a challenge that we must all fulfill, or we must all surmount. So for this year, the Parliament will begin deliberating the individual budget proposed by the different ministries, beginning this afternoon. Last November 14, the Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management submitted to the Chief Minister, and thereafter the Chief Minister convened the Cabinet to deliberate on a budget proposed by the government of the day. What is important, therefore, to understand is in this process where you have a fusion of the legislative and the executive branch of government under the parliamentary system, the proposal is not coming from an executive branch of government to a legislative branch. The proposal actually comes from the government of the day, the majority in the parliament. It proposes that budget, and the parliament as a whole, led by the government of the day, will deliberate and approve the budget. Given that we have very limited time, what has been agreed by the government of the day is to set the number of days within which the cabinet will deliberate and submit the budget proposal, and for the parliament also to submit, deliberate, and approve the budget within a given period. This is necessitated by the fact that we are now November. December 31, all of the bureaucracy of the region will be gone. And therefore, we need to pass the budget within a period that affords us the opportunity to first publish it, for it to become a law. Second, after it has become a law, after the publication, then the positions that will be filled up through an appointment will also have to be published 10 days. And then you give the selection board 5 days at least before an appointment can be issued. Given the tight timeline, two things have been requested by the Chief Minister. First is that the Parliament holds a special session, beginning yesterday actually, because the regular session begins on Wednesday, November 20. But because of the tight timeline, the Chief Minister have requested that the special session be held for 18 and 19. And then it will continue on the 20th, 21st, and hopefully by 22nd, the Parliament will be able to enact the budget. from that day on, then we count 15 days for publication. So we have a very, very tight timeline. And the timeline is driven by the need to ensure that we have a budget and a government that will function by January 2020. So we've done overtime work for the Parliament as well as for the members of the Cabinet. And for that, we wanted to congratulate the Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management for the job well done. They've managed to come up with a budget proposal that the Chief Minister actually submitted yesterday to the Parliament. The deliberation will start at the technical or at the subcommittee level this afternoon. Our hope is that within this week, we are able to pass the budget and that this government then can function by January 2020. So, for 2020, the total budget approved by the Cabinet and proposed to the Parliament is 65,634,076,000. Of this, the income source determined by the Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management are essentially two. One is the block grant that amounts to roughly around 63 billion and roughly 3 to 4 billion that will come from local collections by the regional treasury as well as the share of the regional government from national taxes collected in the region. That is the total budget allocated and proposed by the Cabinet and which we hope will be approved by the Parliament in its deliberation. Of that amount, roughly around 20,178,882,238 will go to personnel services, meaning salaries and other benefits of the employees of the new regional government by next year. The MOE or the maintenance other operating expenses amounts to 14,376,254,000. Capital outlay is at 8,718,623,534. This amount is allocated to the different ministries from the operation of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority as the Parliament, the Office of the Chief Minister that leads the Cabinet, and then the different ministries. The highest allocation is still with the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education at around 19,056,935. That's the biggest chunk of the budget for the regional government. It will go to the Ministry of Education. So that's the highest budget allocated. Second, in terms of social service delivery, will go to the infrastructure, Ministry of Public Works, at around 4,089,426,154. Next to that is the Ministry of Social Services and Development, around 2,033,934,000. So the major social service ministries would get the biggest allocation in the proposal. But our hope is that given that the government of the day has a majority in the Parliament, we will be able to pass the budget within the timeline that we have agreed so that we can publish it publish the position, issue the appointment, and then next year, we will have a fully operational
Gusto niyo po
Bangsamoro.
mag-ask ng question after po yung
Maraming salamat po at
para po mainis na po.
Thank you very much,
magtanong
Atty. Sinarimbo. We would also like to hear a brief
Tata
overview of
Abdul Karim.
from the Commissioner of the Sports Commission, Charles Raymond,
DX.
Maxey, for the information of everyone.
Double
They are conducting, or they have just launched the Mindanao Sports Peace Caravan earlier this morning. So, sir?
Thank you.
Ay, dash.
I would also like to apologize for coming late. I think apparently they took the same flight, 9:20 a.m. flight from Manila, so our apology, my apology. But anyway, good morning everyone. It's good to be back in Cotabato. This is my second time. Coming here. Yes, we just launched the Sports for Peace Caravan as part of government's peace building efforts here in Mindanao. Of course, in partnership with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. General Batan is here. He's very energetic, he's very workaholic in the aspect of sports. You know, this sport is a great equalizer. And when we start peace, sports is a great equalizer for peace. And when we talk of peace, when we start peace, we start with the children. So I'm glad to be here and in partnership, of course, for the BARMM and then the local government and then the MILG and then Department of Education. This is a program as envisioned by the President himself. Would like to bring sports to the territory. Yung pong instruction ng Presidente nung pumasok kami is to make sports accessible to every Filipino. So yung pong ginagawa natin dito ngayon, dito sa Cotabato City, yung aming Sports for Peace Caravan, where we have clinics, different, I think 6 events, Colonel, and then later on we have some games. But the main point here is that we continue to support the peace building efforts of government through our children. Sila po yung ating mga leader dito, at of course yung ating BARMM, we want BARMM to succeed. We are supportive of BARMM, of course. I was trying to ask earlier kanina kung magkano naman yung budget po authority sa ating sports. Anyway, that's just later. But thank you for coming here, for sharing your time for today's activity.
Thank you very much, sir. And to add some information or details for the participation of the Bangsamoro Sports Commission, we have Sir Norhan, sir.
Hello. Good morning to everyone. We are successfully done the launching of the Mindanao Sports Peace Caravan in partnership of the Philippine Sports Commission and mainly from the FPP, the UNP, and also the CCS, PC, together with the NBS and MILG. So the participants came from different part of Maguindanao, such as Maguindanao 1, Maguindanao 2, and Cotabato City, composed of 5 people, most official and 2 months. Participants is 500 to 600. Medyo nag-exceed tayo ng 100. Supposedly, we have also the team led by the Bangsamoro Sports Commission, young combatants and the son of combatants na from armed struggle to economic struggle yung pinag-propose natin para ma-lessen yung criminal activities in our region. So, alhamdulillah, the Executive Secretary based the program, Colonel Patuan, and also we belong to our friend here, Commissioner Maxey, and our dear Minister, Atty. Sinarimbo, Minister of the MILG. Maraming salamat po sa mga suporta nyo sa programa ng Bangsamoro Sports Commission and other sports development promotion para sa aming newly installed office ng Bangsamoro Sports Commission of BARMM. Thank you very much.
Alright, maraming salamat po. The head of the commission of Bangsamoro Sports Commission, Sir Norhan po ka. Alright, so we will now accept questions na po from our friends from the media. One question lang po from each entity. Alas po sa And to start with, first question will be coming from DXMS Radyo Vida, Nigel Sumaki.
So, good morning. Sir, ano pong mangyayari sa turnover ng 63 barangay bukas? And will it be constituted into municipality?
Yung turnover ay nakaset for tomorrow at 10:30. Two parts. First part would be a turnover to the Chief Minister by the provincial government of North Cotabato. We've actually invited both the acting governor of North Cotabato as well as the elected governor and the members of the Leniee. So they will arrive here and will be received by the Chief Minister. And then the turnover ceremony will happen at 10:30 at the Sharif Cultural Complex. After the program, the Chief Minister in the afternoon will report the turnover to the Parliament. And the Parliament would most likely pass a resolution recognizing acknowledging the turnover and then expressing its gratitude to the provincial government of North Cotabato. Those are the ceremonies. The more substantive one is that when the turnover happens, what has been agreed in the cabinet is a proposal that we submitted to the Parliament, I think a month ago, which is the creation of an administrative setup to absorb the 63 barangays. The reason for that is that if you create municipalities at this stage, it would be too late for the municipalities to be able to receive TIRA at this year and even next year because the budget allocation is done, and therefore, even if it's created and it's in accordance with the provision of the local government code, it would not be able to get a TIRA by next year. So it was not an option for us. The option, therefore, is to create an administrative setup where the services delivered formerly by the municipalities and the provincial government will now be delivered instead by the appropriate ministries of the Bangsamoro government. So for health services, for instance, because they've been separated from the mother municipality and the province, the municipal health officer, which is a devolved service under the administrative regions outside of the Bangsamoro, this will now be assumed by the Ministry of Health of the regional government, which is a perfect fit because in the autonomous region, in the Bangsamoro, health services, agriculture, social services have not been devolved to local government units. So it will just be service delivery done by the Ministry of Health. There are other technical issues that will be resolved in a memorandum circular that the Ministry of the Interior Local Government will issue, such as, for instance, who signs for the travel authority of the barangay captains, given that they don't have a mayor now. So these technical issues will be resolved through a circular that we will issue as soon as the turnover happens. But there is already a draft executive order that we've submitted to the Office of the Chief Minister on the basis of the deliberation of the Cabinet when we presented the proposal to create a district setup for the 63 barangays. It will be headed by an administrator who will in effect function as the head of the special geographic area for the 63 barangays. What you need to note is that the geographic area is recognized under the Constitution. Section 10 or 18, Article 10 of the Constitution says that provinces, cities, and geographic areas sharing common history may opt to join the autonomous regions. So it's not just the regular local government units that can actually join, even geographic areas with the features enumerated in the Constitution may join, which is why we are constituting them into a special geographic unit pursuant to the constitutional provision under Section 18, Article 10. And the setup is such that we will be able to deliver social services to the new barangays. The first major task is to ensure that, one, we do not disrupt the delivery of services. It would be unwise to go through a process such as the creation of a municipality at this stage, because it will in effect deprive these barangays the continuity of service that is needed. We will, in the proposal, we will think about creation only after a census is conducted next year, which is a regular census undertaken by the Philippine Statistics Authority now. Every 5 years there's a census, so next year is the regular census. By then, we will be able to determine exactly the qualification of the different areas in the 63 barangays that constitute the special geographic area for North Cotabato. So if they comply with population requirement, land area, and income, then the Parliament may opt to create them into municipalities, which is a power granted to the Bangsamoro Parliament under the law.
Thank you very much. Next question will be from Sir Noel Punzalan of Philippine News Agency.
Good morning. Sir,
Salamat.
sundutin ko lang yung question. Who will represent who will lead the North Cotabato officials for the turnover ceremony, considering that Katamco is under suspension and the acting governor is Mendoza? Which will?
As far as the communication coming from the provincial government of North Cotabato, it will be the acting governor, who is the elected vice governor, Lala Talino Mendoza, who will lead the delegation coming from North Cotabato in the ceremony for tomorrow.
Alright. Next question po from Sir Jeff Mendez of National Broadcasting Corporation.
Hi sir, good morning. Hi, attorney. Mr. Lin. You mentioned a while back on the changes sa budget deliberation and defense. Will there be changes din sa auditing process after the deliberation?
Not much in terms of audit, because the Commission of Audit and the Audit Authority still lies with the Commission of Audit, which is an independent commission under the national government. What improvement has been made in the organic law, and which is implemented in this budget, is that the regional government may create internal audit, which would then allow us to examine first the documents and the process for any procurement before it is actually given a go by the authorized authorities for the disbursement. So in fact, we will have two audit processes in place in the Bangsamoro government, which was formerly a practice in the national government but has been abandoned for quite some time. It has become a post-audit where you disperse the funds. Thereafter, you submit the voucher to the Commission on Audit. They examine the documents. They can either pass, suspend, or issue audit observations to you, or disallow the disbursement altogether. In our case, there is a check before the checks are actually issued for disbursements. A way of improving the internal control of management over disbursements.
I would like to throw my next question sa Bangsamoro Sports Commission and PSCO first. After this Sports for Peace Caravan, what are the plans, the mga susunod na activities that you have for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, especially for the right people and children sa region?
Thank you for that question. Of course, this Sports for Peace Caravan here in Cotabato City right now for BARMM is just the start of the PDP. We plan to go around doon po sa mga members na under the BARMM in maybe next year because we have Southeast Asian Games. We're busy with the staging of the Southeast Asian Games. We hope to follow this up starting next year. Iikutan po namin yung lahat ng mga kasama sa BARMM. Ito pong ating ginagawa dito sa Cotabato City today is just the launch of the activity for our peacekeeping efforts here in Mindanao. Thank you for that question.
Alright, thank you, sir. Next question will be from Sir Lax Dama of Rajanan.
Okay, good morning and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ang katanungan po ko ay Advisor ng Sports Commission at sa Sports Commission. Sir, alam naman natin na yung sports talaga napakalaki na ito sa mga kabataan. Ano po, may yung tanggapan ba sir ng tanggapan sa sports commission? May ginagawa ba para malagyan yung mga municipality sa barangay ng tamang sport, for example, basketball court, kasi nga karamihan sa mga kali, mga kalsada ay nagiging kali po ng mga presidente.
Kami sa Philippine Sports Commission, hindi ko masyadong malaki yung budget namin. We're not actually into infrastructure. But we can always assist LGUs requesting for such assistance, especially yung mga equipment, yung mga codes. Marami po kaming mga natatanggap na request not only in BARMM but in other parts of the country, requesting for equipment, basketball courts, volleyball courts. Dinadahan-dahan lang namin po itong tinutulungan. We address the concerns because we understand the plight of the territory, especially in the far-flung barangays, in areas like here in Cotabato City in the BARMM. Ang amin na pong request sa kanila is just to come up, to send us a request letter in order to address this officially. Kasi kami sa board, sa Philippine Sports Commission, we hold board meetings, and during these board meetings, we discuss the request of LGUs, different LGUs all over the country. So I'm not saying that we're not into infrastructure, but we can always assist, especially kung hindi yung malalaki masyado. But kung pa naman yung equipment, we can always provide assistance.
Alright, thank you very much. Next question will be from Chin Pony Getotay of DXNS Rajavita.
Good morning, everyone. One question, Minister, update na po dun sa separation package natin employees. First batch, kailan po po darating?
October pa rin. Second batch.
Tama yun, napatutunan natin ng vaccine, yung separation package. Kaya natin malapit ang ang original na usapan with the DBM is that they will try to facilitate yung immediate release ng separation package. For the first batch na separated from service effective October 31 this year. It is now November 18. Ang alam natin last week, this was deliberated in the cabinet because it has come to the attention of the minister na hindi pa nga na-release yung separation pay ng mga separate no, effective October 31. And therefore, this was made one of the agenda to be taken up by a delegation that we sent to the DBM. Kahapon po yung meeting nila with the DBM. We are yet to receive the report from the team that went to DBM. But our hope is that within the year, dapat ma-receive na ng mga employees yung separation benefits. Because effectively, they are no longer receiving their salary. Kung mga nagpapaaral po yan, meron pong papayaran sa eskwelahan, yung mga anak nila, kailangan nilang mabuhay nilang araw-araw. So, kakailanganin po nila ng amount na yun na mabigay na sa kanila. So, we will continue to press the issue to DBM so that we can base on the base of the raise or the benefits who've been separated first phase. Part of the employees will be separated in December 31.
Thank you very much, sir. Next question from Abu Bakar Kampong of Swara, Mindanao.
Assalamualaikum. Atty. Abu Bakar di Kampung Suara Mindanao. Ang tanong ko sa iyo, sir, itong individual budgetary hearing ng mga ministry dito sa Bangsamoro. So, uniform ba yung budgetary hearing nila doon sa mga ministry o doon sa mga bureau? Ilang tanong ko?
For this year, wala po tayong ceiling. Ibig sabihin, binigyan laya ng Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management at ng Government of the Day ang bawat opisina at ministry na mag-propose ng budget base sa pangangailangan nila at yung mga programa gusto nilang i-pursue. Dahil hindi ko natin tin-rate yung last year na budget o this year na budget ng BARMM dahil nagbago tayo ng gobyerno. So yung pong mga dating pakiramdam ng mga kasama natin na hindi angkop ng mga programa ay hindi na po yun nila pinropose. Yun naman po mga ibang pakiramdam ng mga kasama natin sa ministry at importante programa, yun po yung pinropose nila. Halimbawa po sa ministry namin, nagsagawa po kami ng mabilisang pag-aaral doon sa estado, doon pag-gobyerno ng mga lokal na pamahalaan sa Bangsamoro. So we did a quick assessment of the state of governance of the region. For this, we tapped the expertise of the BARMM, which is a prestigious institution that awards the prestigious award BARMM in Malacanang for excellent programs by local government. In that assessment and in our internal assessment of the industry, we found that several things ang challenge ng mga local government units. Una ay yung capacity galing doon sa pagpapatakbo ng lokal na pamahalaan. Pangalawa ay yung pong gap doon sa polisiya na magsiset ng direksyon para sa mga local government units. Medyo wala po yun. Pangatlo ay yung interface ng region at saka ng mga local government units na hindi maganda. Hindi masyado defined. Kaya kadalasan, yung programa ng region at saka ng local government units, kung hindi man magkasalungat, ito ay magkaiba ng direksyon. So, mga bagay na hindi naayos. Pangalawa ay, maski na anong performance ng local government units, wala tayong sistema ng pag-acknowledge at pag-reward ng magandang performance. Panglima ay walang ngipin yung Ministry of the Interior and Local Government under the current local government code, yung MMA Act 25. So yung limang yun, ay in-address namin sa pamamaraan ng 41 new program na involved ng ministry namin. So, yung budget namin addresses the 4 issues that we found in the study of local government units. Hindi yung base sa programa lang na binababa ng national government sa atin. Sa amin ay pinag-aralan yung ano yung problema ng local government sa atin, paano masolusyonan yung 5 sinabi ko sa ito. Halimbawa, sa area ng polisiya, pag lalabas tayo ng panibagong local government code, tapos nahulong team namin yung pag-draft ng local government code. Tatapusin lang po namin yung budget and then we'll submit it to the Parliament. Nasubmit na po namin sa kabinete, inatay lang namin yung comment nila. But ang pinakamahalaga dito ay, una, pupunuan natin yung kakulangan ng ipin, hindi hupungin. Yung kakulangan ng regulatory power ng Ministry of the Interior Local Government over local government units in the region. So papalakasin natin yung polisiya. Halimbawa, yung issue na hindi nagtutugma yung regional development plan at saka yung individual na comprehensive development plan o kaya physical framework plan ng probinsya at saka ng mga munisipyo sa pamamagitan ng requirements sa approval at reporting ng plano. Sa ngayon, yung plano po ng munisipyo pupunta sa probinsya, yung plano ng probinsya didiretso sa national DILG. Wala akong convergence dito sa atin. So they can simply disregard the region, even submission of the report of the plan or even the approval of a plan. So hindi talaga magtutugma yung plano dahil parallel paakyat sila, tayo naman dito lang sa region. So hindi siya nagtatagpo. Sa proposal na local government code, yung plano ng probinsya kailangan ma-approve ng Economic Development Council ng region para maka-access siya doon sa block grant. So kung hindi niya idadaan yung plano niya dito, hindi ma-approve, wala siya makukuha sa regional government na programa. So yun yung paraan para mapunan natin yung kakulangan doon sa siya. Pangalawa ay yung kung kakulangan doon sa capacity, ang tradisyonal na ginagawa ay ang capacity building o orientation ay nakatuon lamang sa mga elected officials. So meron kang NEO o newly elected officers orientation program. Nakatutok lang yan kay Mayor o kaya kay Gobernador. Ang programa natin sa ngayon ay hindi malilimit yung capacity building doon sa mga elected na opisyal dahil kadalasan sa munisipyo at sa probinsya, ang tunay na nagpapatakbo ng makinarya ng burokrasya ay yung mga technical staff ni Mayor at ni Governor. Sino-sino ho ito? Ito yung municipal coordinator, municipal engineer, municipal budget officer, si accountant, si administrator. In reality, sila ho yung tunay na nagpapatakbo ng gobyerno o burokrasya sa baba. Pero kung hindi natin i-capacitate yan, at si Mayor lang na nakapacitate, hindi pa rin tatakbo yung burokrasya. So, kaya medyo malaki yung nilaan na pondo para doon. Para yung capacity building will now expand beyond the elected officials and look at key functionaries in the local government units. Ang hope natin ay pag kinapacitate natin itong na ito, uunlad yung pagpapatakbo ng gobyerno sa local government units. Siyempre ho, ang kakibat yan ay pagka kinapacitate natin yan, pero na next day ay pinalitan ni Mayor ng iba, ni Governor ng iba, na wala namang capacity, na sayang yung pera natin pinag-capacity. Kaya kaakibat ng technical assistance ay policy improvement doon sa mga local key functionaries na maging permanenting public servants sila na hindi subject sa whims and caprices ng mga politician. Kasi in the end, yung efficiency ng local government unit mo is largely determined not just by the elected officials, but more importantly by the key functionaries that possess the technical competence to run a bureaucracy. So kung hindi mo poprotektahan yan, at hindi mo ilalagay yung e-qualification at ipagbabawal yung pagtanggal ng walang proseso, hindi ko pa rin mag-improve. So, kasali mo yun sa policy improvement natin. So, makikita nyo, hindi lang po yung ministry ko, pati yung ibang ministry, ay pinag-aralan yung challenges na kinukonfront ng regional government at saka ng mga LGUs natin at yung iba-ibang programa natin at yung mga proposal ay based on sa pag-resolve sa mga challenges. Ang hope natin ay yung budget really will address the fundamental challenges we face and address the needs of our constituents. So which is why in the proposal you read that this is not just a Bangsamoro government expenditure program. This is a Bangsamoro expenditure program. Far greater than just this government. This is about our people. This is about the region. So yun po yung napapanood po sa budget. Hindi lang sa pag-gobyerno. Kasi malawak po yung saklaw dapat yung pagtingin natin doon sa budget at saka sa mga programa.
Thank you very much. We are down to our last 2 questions. Next question will be from Sir Atty of News 9 Philippines, followed by Abstamahan. Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir. Aside from the office of the administrator for this Vision Geographical Area, what are the other offices that we are going to install in the different cluster barangay that will form Vision Geographical Units to fast-track delivery of social services?
Ang structure po natin, so sa taas nito ay yung administrator of the geographic area. Below it are the coordinators for the geographic units, yung cluster ng barangay. The whole cluster of 63 is referred to as the geographic area. The cluster of barangays below that have been grouped together is called the geographic units. Yung pong geographic units, magkakaroon sila ng coordinator that coordinates the different services delivered by the office of the administrator. Yung pong administrator, ang design niya will allow it to deliver programs and services. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang fiscal autonomy na mag-disperse at mag-pursue ng program ang pagkakadesign niya. Doon sa coordinators ay hindi po. Wala pong disbursement at the level of the coordinators. Dahil nagsisimula pa lang tayo, mas maganda rin na approach natin ay merong integration ng programming at a certain level. Pagka masyadong dispersed, hindi ko natin mararamdaman yung impact ng program. So kaya ako nakadesenyo siya na merong overall na administrator that brings together the different programs in all of the areas of the system.
Thank you very much. Next question, Abstamahan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning sa mga bisita natin. Ay maglagay tayo ng senaryo, Atty. na Minister. Halimbawa, ang budget ng National Monetary katulad ng itong 2019. So, paano ang makasurvive ang BARMM, halimbawa mag-delay ang budget ng National? Parati lang na-delay. Saan tayo kukuha ng pondo?
Yung pong budget natin ay hindi na dependent sa national government. Ito ay black grant na automatically appropriate and regularly released. I was just talking to our colleagues who was part of the delegation that was sent to the DBM to look at the details of the transfer of the black grants. At ang napag-usapan nga raw, which was a confirmation of an earlier discussion with the Ministry of Finance and the National Treasurer that we did together with Minister Guerra. Yung pong transfer ay treasury to treasury. So it does not go through the DBM. Automatic na po yun na lalabas sa National Treasury papunta sa regional treasury natin. Yung pera natin. From there, it will then be farmed out to the different ministries. So yun po yung sistema. So, hindi na po siya dependent po sa dating ginagawian natin na magre-request tayo sa DBM, mag-i-issue ng SAR sa DBM, mag-aantay tayo ng notice of cash allocation or NCB, saka lang natin mapunta sa Office of the Regional Governor, mag-i-issue si Office of the Regional Governor ng notice of fund transfer doon sa Ministry or sa Department mo. Sa ngayon hindi na. Diretso na sa Treasury natin. From the Treasury, it will be farm out.
Automatic downloading na yun, attorney?
Opo. Yun po ang provision ng organic law. At yun yung major na change sa fiscal policy na na-achieve namin sa organic law.
Okay, sa Commissioner ng Sport, no? Pag-i-update naman ng CI Games, kasi pag-cover nyo mga CI Games.
When the chairman accepted the job as a chef de mission in June of this year, chairman includes himself, we concentrated on the training of artists. So we spent 1 billion just for the training alone of our athletes, sending them abroad, international competitions, holding training camps, and ito po yung ating preparation ng ating mga atleta. When it comes to facilities, we rehabilitated Rizal, Ultra, Rizal, and Ninoy Aquino Stadium just for the, not only for the SEA Games, but after the SEA Games, this will be utilized by our athletes, student athletes especially. Thank you for that question, sir.
Thank you, sir. Last 2 questions na lang po kami. From PSWI, go.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everybody. My question is addressed to Attorney Naguib Sinarimbo. We know, Attorney, that we have a new anti-drug Czar and co-chair of committee or inter-agency committee in the person of inter-committee agency committee of anti-drug or anti-illegal drug in the person of Vice President Leniee Robreso. So, in the event na bumaba na yung level of instruction, as Parliament officials, how do you plan to enforce an orders in a way na applicable sa ating area? And to assure na no collateral damage, no human violation of human rights, and extrajudicial killing. Yan lamang po. Maraming salamat.
Can I comment on the action that the national government has actually taken? Because essentially the anti-drug campaign is a national campaign, and the designation of the new anti-illegal drug Czar is a decision of the President. What we currently have is a program under the Department of the Interior and Local Government, which is a regular monitoring audit of the barangay anti-drug abuse council, and also at the municipal level. That's a current program. If a new program is proposed and given to us, then we will have to look at the program and implement it according to the powers granted the Bangsamoro government pursuant to the organic law. So that's the guidance.
Thank you very much. Last question from Radyo Bandera News TV. Go ahead.
Okay, assalamualaikum. Manawara po kayo from Bandera News TV. Question ko po ay kay Attorney and then kay Sir Taharudin. Kay Attorney, ang update ko doon sa 11 Manila municipalities kung nabigyan na ba sila ng certification ng MENRE na isa sa requirements ng DBM, sir. Ano na po yung update natin?
Tama po yun. Nagpatawag po ng meeting ang DBM una para doon sa determination ng land area. Kasi yun yung maging basis for the computation of the internal revenue allocation of the 11 non-ERA municipalities, which have all been converted into a regular municipality. pursuant to the provision of the organic law. Therefore, are entitled to the ERA. So, technical na compliance lang na kailangan ay isubmit ng regional government through the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Energy yung certification of the land area for each of the 11 municipalities. The Chief Minister called a meeting of all the 11 municipalities, the municipal mayors, and we attended that meeting. We've agreed that the METRE will issue the certification on the basis of available documents, and that includes the document of a certification of land area, which was used by the former regional legislative assembly to enact the law creating the municipality. Yun yung isang basis. But we've also noticed some of the municipalities of discrepancy in terms of land area. We did a consultation with the MENRE and the municipal mayors, and we've settled that issue. And therefore, the MENRE already submitted the certification required by the DBM on the total land area for each of the 11 municipalities. Na-forward na with DBM. And therefore, our expectation is the next year, kasi kasali na sila doon sa mga municipalities na nakalista sa proposed DAA ng national government, then they will receive internal revenue allocation. In the meantime, na hindi pa sila nakaka-receive, ang directive coming from the Chief Minister is to continue the financial assistance given by the regional government to the individual municipalities o dapat.
Thank you, Atty. Kay Sir Taharudin naman po. Sir, since launch nyo po ng Mindanao Sports Peace Caravan, ano po yung part po ng AFP sa sinasagawa po na activity?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ang Armed Forces of the Philippines at sa Philippine Sports Commission ay merong memorandum of agreement, that mandates the armed forces to support the sports development of the country. And therefore, the Armed Forces of the Philippines through our office would support any activity initiative of the armed forces. Secondly, the armed forces has a task. It is really a very significant on the part of the armed force to, especially on the business of peace building at nation building in the Bangsamoro region. And therefore, the Mindanao Sports for Peace Caravan is a welcome development for us. And we're very thankful to the Secretary of National Defense, Delphine Lorenzana, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Noel Clemens, for allowing us to fully support the initiative of and the partnership of the Philippine Sports Commission and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The MSPC is a Mindanao-wide activity, and therefore the launching in BARMM will just be an initial program. Bababa po ito sa different provinces ng BARMM, simultaneous ito sa different provinces na buong Mindanao. So, napakaganda po ito sa Armed Forces of the Philippines, sa National Police. The business of peace building is really one of the major thrusts. Yung participation namin dito ng Armed Forces is very low-key. We do not see uniformen because what we're emphasizing is the role of the armed forces in nation building and in building a peace constituency of united Filipinos. Thank you.
Ayan, maraming salamat po. That ends our Kapihan sa Bangsamoro for this week. Thank you very much po sa lahat po ng ating partners in the media. And of course, the members of the panel, maraming salamat po. And we would also like to acknowledge our viewers sa ating pong Facebook page na Radyo Bangsamoro. Bangsamoro Government. Thank you very much. See you next week. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.